Oh boy, man. Oh boy. One Piece continues to impress, man. One Piece continues to impress. I just love what we're getting out of the One Piece manga. And yes, I believe we're 3 for 3 on manga chapter reviews for the week because I'm sorry, man. Like I said, if you're new to the channel, if you're new to me doing One Piece manga chapter reviews, again, if you even go into my playlist, you're like, wait, why did you go to like from the one chapter? I think that was like when Luffy went gear 5th or whatever, for the first time. And then there's like a split between chapters, and then now I'm talking about the One Piece manga. Listen, I don't do One Piece manga chapters like every week like most of the other One Piece YouTube people in the community do, and I do like to watch their work and stuff like that, because I think they have great insights of the One Piece stuff, even better than me myself, in some cases. Because there's things like I forget about some parts of the One Piece story, but regardless, I do weekly episode reviews of the anime now. I know a few weeks ago I missed like back-to-back episodes, but yes, and I still gotta do my anime episode review from yesterday's episode. I still gotta watch it. I didn't even watch the episode yet. So that's kind of the thing right then and there within itself. Anyways, Oda's going on break for like 4 or 5 weeks because he's getting surgery. So that's the bummer, because we're gonna be out with a One Piece chapter for the next 4 months, or 4 months. God, kill me. 4 weeks. But he left us off on a cliffhanger of a chapter where pretty much I think there should be a lot of discussion for the upcoming 4 to 5 weeks with where the story could potentially be going now. Because not only do we get the revelation of the names of the Gorosei members, we pretty much get a pickup where, okay, this is how which character ends up where. And then on top of this, we find out and we finally get revealed one of the God's Knights members, which is absolutely insane. So let's get to this freaking chapter. Jeez Louise. Let's get to this chapter. If my phone would stop, please, thank you. Chapter 1086, titled The Five Elders. Cover page art is a colored page fan made for fan request art. It's of the Straw Hats, like, I guess, messing around in puddles after the rain. The only Straw Hats I don't see in the rain are in this drawing are Zoro and, what is it? Zoro and Jinbei. All the other Straw Hat members are there except Zoro and Jinbei. Where the hell they are, I have no fucking clue. But let's move on to the chapter. Anyways, the chapter starts off at Castle Pangaea. And the narrator goes on to say, and so the reverie came to a close, with the truth of King Cobra's murder kept under wraps. Now we sell Shaka, Pell, and Igaram. They're pretty much asking where King Cobra is, where Princess Vivi is, yada yada yada. And they're pressuring the guards, and yeah, that's kind of the thing right then and there. Now the narrator goes back on to say, while on the ships taking the various royals home, a number of stowaways had kept their heads low. Now, on one of the boats, we see Vivi with Wapol. And pretty much, Vivi and Wapol throughout this scene in the chapter, they're talking to each other like telepathically, like they understand what they're saying. And pretty much, that's kind of the thing now. We find out that the ship they're on it belongs to the Aegis Kingdom. Now, the thing is, excuse me. Wapol has a transponder still, and he's calling up Morgans. So here we go. I think, and then again, I'll go further into this conversation. But I think my prediction I made last week might potentially be coming true. And if it does come true, well then, geez Louise, I am a great prognosticator. But knowing Oda, he might shock us all and might not do the expected, but that's kind of the thing. Anyways, Morgans gets the understanding of like, okay, cool, you're gonna be on the Aegis ship. Well then, we'll bring the office to the ship so you guys can hide out and things like that. And the only thing you need to do is you're just gonna have to slip under their nose when you get on board and stuff like that. So yeah. Anyways, Wapple's like, thank you, I appreciate this, Morgan. And Morgan is like, hey, listen, you're a king fleeing your own country. Listen, that's big news. I can't wait to dig into what you're about to tell me, though. So that's kind of the thing. Now, Vivian turns around to Wapple, and again, it's these thinking speech bubbles, like they're telepathically talking to one another. So they kind of know what they're, I guess, saying, which, again, it's absolutely hilarious that Wapple's in this situation, and in a way, he's still going to be a bad guy, but in a way, he's kind of helping out in this whole, like, story right now for the One Piece, for One Piece, which, it's absolutely hilarious. Now, Vivi's asking Wapple, like, okay, Wapple, what the hell did you see in the room? And pretty much Wapple's like, I'm not telling you shit. You know, they're just gonna freaking come find me if I tell. Now, the thing is, Vivi's like, okay then, well, let me use the transponders now so I can get in touch with my dad. And pretty much, you know, Wapple's like, oh crap, no, you can't do that. No. Now, Wapple knows that obviously Cobra is dead. So I feel like eventually he'll tell Vivi and everything what truly happened, because obviously the news is gonna break out like, oh, what's his face, Sabo killed Cobra. I highly believe that, and the way we see how when we were in the present when Vivi was on Morgan's ship, she didn't even look worried or upset about, you know, her dad dying, if anything. So more than likely, when probably Morgan's prints this news out just as a cover-up to keep staying the good graces probably the world government. What's his face? Wapple probably truly told the true story to Vivi and Morgan's about what truly happened, and probably told him like, hey, Cobra didn't exactly die by that guy. That guy was there and he was trying to protect Cobra from dying, but the elders and this mysterious guy called Emu, he's the one that killed him. So that's kind of the thing. We have it to where the CP0 members, they're even looking for Vivi, as well as some other members, government members are looking for Sabo, and they're like showing their pictures and things like that. We see Bonnie, she's on the Taijun Kingdom ship, and Sabo, he's actually on the Lulusia Kingdom ship. So we find out, okay, he was already directed to go to Lulusia. Things like that. But Sabo looks a lot more beat up, worse for wear. We don't really see what the hell happened after, you know, Cobra died. But it seemed like Sabo was in a lot worse shape than he initially looked like. So that's kind of the thing right then and there. Anyways, the narrator goes on to say, very soon the news came out of the assassination of King Cobra of Alabasta and the disappearance of his daughter, Princess Vivi. Now again, I don't know if that's the world government that just said, screw Morgan's, let's just publish this, or if it was Morgan's that's just doing this as a cover-up. The narrator isn't really descriptive, but it seems like it more than likely was the world government that did that, as opposed to Morgan's. But again, Morgan's may have printed this news out just as a cover-up, because now he's got the full truth and he's going to wait on the right time to spoil the said news out. Anyways, we now, I guess, in an extent, somewhat cut to a little bit, I guess, before the events of the Egghead Island incident. We cut back to Pangea Castle in Marijois, and pretty much we have the 5 elders, or the Gorosei, talking. And they're saying, pretty much they're talking about Sabo, and they're saying like, oh, this is another guy with a checkered fate, and has led a life that more affected by the D. Now they make the mention of like, listen, we really want to finish up with this Egghead business, but right now this whole thing, you know, it's a priority right now. This is even a bigger problem than what's going on with Egghead. So they get a call, and it's actually a call from Emu. So Emu's just now talking. Is just now talking out of all the craziness. Emu is probably like, oh yeah, it's time to make some moves now. And does he make some moves? So Emu's in that little flower chamber area, and pretty much Emu is like, yeah, I think it's time. Use the weapon. Use the Motherflame now, which is Vegapunk's creation. Now the Goras are like, wait, are you sure about this? You sure you want to use the Motherflame? You know, listen, it's the only way we can see if it, things like that. Now, they go on to say, perhaps the results of such a test might influence our handling of the egghead matter. Now, they also, the guy with the sword also makes a mention saying, a test on the forested land would do better than the open sea. And Eam just interjects and said, the Lucia Kingdom. And pretty much the big bushy mustache guy with the little mark on his forehead, he's like, but aren't there like a lot of people on that kingdom, on that ground? And Eam's like, so who cares? That's no matter to me. Do it, pretty much. And the one that looks like Gonfal's brother, which I get that from Tekken because I love his videos. He goes on to say, okay, very well. The will of the creator is everlasting, pretty much. Or he says in the manga chapter, the world is as the creator wills it. So the Gorosei are literally calling this guy the god of the entire world. So they're calling Eam the god of the One Piece world. They're just like, okay, sure, go. Yeah, whatever he asks for, he's the creator. He's the guy that runs everything. So let him do as he pleases. Let's go. So that's just crazy. It goes to show you that the Gorosei are dick eaters. Balls. Whatever. Anyways, they ask like, why do you choose the Leloucia Kingdom? Eam just says, it's close. Now do what I pretty much ordered. So they're like, indeed. So we pretty much get the understanding of, okay, this Motherflame was the thing that destroyed the Leloucia Kingdom. Then we get the reveals and the name reveals of the Gorosei. Pretty much, Saint J. Garcia Saturn pretty much says, we shall take the necessary steps to make it so. Now, this is his title. He's 5 Elders, Godhead of Science and Defense, Saint J. Garcia Saturn. Now, the fact that it seems like he is the Godhead of Science and Defense makes a bunch of sense why he is going to Egghead, because, well, that involves science-y stuff. So maybe this guy worked hand in hand with Vegapunk to some knowledge, but again, it makes sense why he's going to Egghead, because that's a science-like island. He's pretty much the department head of science and defense. The guy that looks like Gonfall, pretty much, he says there are signs of rebellion in Leloucia's populace. His title is 5 Elders, Godhead of Environment, Saint Marcus Mars. Obviously, J. Garcia Saturn, he's named after the planet Saturn in the solar system. Marcus Mars here is named after the 4th planet in the solar system, Mars. Saturn is the 6th planet in the solar system. So yes. The bald-headed guy with the mark, he goes on to say, it may serve as an example to others. His title is 5 Elders, Godhead of Justice, Saint Topman Warcury. That is pretty much, just take out the W and flip it with an M, or you have the W and you flip it upside down and it turns into an M. What planet does that say? It says Mercury, which is pretty much the 1st planet in our solar system. So this guy is clearly named after the planet Mercury, even though it's with a W, not an M. But yeah, so we got Marcus Mars, Saint J. Garcia Saturn, Topman Warcury. The bald guy with the sword ends up saying, and if we could use its power freely, his title is Godhead of Finance, Saint Ethan Barrow V. Nusjuro, which is a long ass name. Which pretty much, he hit the planet title he's going across is Venus, the 2nd planet in our solar system, because the V is in it, right then and there. And then the last Gorosei member goes on to say, then we can bring this ancient battle to a conclusion. So they're all saying like, well, if the Motherflame is successful to use, well then damn, we could just use it how many ever times we want, and we could pretty much control the world, and there's not a damn country that can stop us doing this. We can just show them the power of the world government. And they're like, listen, you get in line and you abide to the line. And I guess in a WWE reference from Roman Reigns, you will acknowledge the world government as its creator, pretty much, without saying that. But you will acknowledge the world government as everlasting, pretty much. But anyways, this guy's title is 5 Elders Godhead of Agriculture, Saint Shepherd Jupiter, which I think it's obvious enough. He's named after Jupiter, which is the 5th planet in our solar system after the asteroid belt. But pretty much, these guys are named after the planets, after some of the planets in the solar system. You have Saturn, Mercury, Venus, Jupiter, and Mars. Right then and there. Now, you have to wonder, is Eem named after a planet too? Don't know. Because the only planets that are left out, actually, no. The only planets that are left out are Earth, which I guess they'll be perfect for frickin' Eem to be kind of called after Earth. And then, actually, no. Earth is the only planet in the solar system that hasn't been named after something. Because you got to look at it. Remember, guys, the ship Pluton, that's named after Pluto, even though it's always back and forth of, is Pluto a planet, or is Pluto not a planet, or is it just a ball of rock right there? Whatever, I remember when I was a kid, I was invested in the solar system stuff, and then, obviously, I could care less, but I still remember the times, like, people were determining, oh, is Pluto a planet? It's a planet. It's not a planet. It's a planet. I don't even know if they consider it a planet now, but I'm going to consider Pluto a planet because it's in our solar system, and that's how it was always founded. But, Pluton, that just references the planet Pluto, the last planet in our solar system. And then, obviously, Neptune has been used. King Neptune, that planet has been used in the name of somebody, so there you go, right then and there. And then obviously the ancient weapon Uranus, I'm not gonna say it the other way, Uranus, that's obviously making the mention of the other planet in the solar system, Uranus, or if you want to use the other way to call it, go ahead. I'm not gonna say it. I still don't know what the hell you call it, but whatever. So pretty much all the planets in the solar system except Earth has been used in the One Piece storyline. So all the other 8 planets have been used except of Earth. Anyways, Eem asks, it says, listen, one other thing. I desire Vivi. Pretty much saying, I need Vivi back here. Why does Eem have such importance for Vivi? I have no clue. That's something we're just going to have to find out what the reasoning is as the story progresses. But Eem definitely is very interested in Vivi for some odd reason. I don't know why. Listen, at the end of the day, I'm just glad that Vivi, a character that was pretty much introduced, and I know there were like other arcs in the East Blue, saga, but if we're gonna go by different arcs, let's be honest, the next major arc in One Piece after the East Blue arcs is the Alabasta arc. But I'll just do this. I'll go by sagas. I'm just happy that in Vivi, who was introduced in the second saga of One Piece, is now seemingly enough after all these years. She was a prominent character in the Alabasta saga. It's just great to see that now Vivi is coming back. And I guess in this end One Piece saga, the final saga of One Piece, she is now being back into the forefront of this story, and she's going to have a very important role going forward. And I'm just really happy that that's the case now after all these freaking years, because I've always wanted to see Vivi again, but to finally see her finally getting like screen time of importance now, because the world government is practically after her now. Hey, that's great. Which also shows me that, hey, maybe there's a chance she runs into the Straw Hats again, because I feel like I know she's definitely gonna ask Morgans, hey, do you know where Luffy and the rest of the Straw Hats are at? let me go with them. I feel like I could be safe with them because they'll protect me no matter what. So yeah, that's kind of the thing there. And then, like I said, I think last week, she can tell Luffy and the other Straw Hats what the hell's going on. So that just gets the Straw Hats into the party of the Battle of the World Government, which is still confusing me. What is going to be Endgame? Is Endgame One Piece going to be on Laugh Tale? Or is the Endgame of One Piece going to be like taking place in Marie-Joie, where the Straw Hats raid Marie-Joie and they take down Ym? I don't know which one is coming first, because there's so, and I still don't know who's gonna be the final bad guy. Akainu could be the final bad guy, but then again, the way it's looking at it, the way he knows justice, well, then again, he might side with the world government more than anything, because he detests pirates. But I still don't know if Blackbeard's gonna be the main bad guy or Ym's gonna be the main bad guy. And people keep throwing predictions. Maybe Blackbeard and Luffy are gonna have to work together to defeat Ym. It only makes sense because they're both D's. So, I guess we'll see as the story progresses. Anyways, we cut over to the Navy, and speaking of Akainu, he's like, there's a rebellion in Taijuin and in Aegis. Now, the narrator goes on to say the Navy was stretched thin between the end of the Seven Warlords and the quelling of the sudden uprising members of countries in the government. However, this was only pretty much it. Anyways, we finally get the Seraphim reveals for Doflamingo, Gecko Moria, and Crocodile. They look pretty much exactly like the Warlord, like all of them, just in kids' bodies, pretty much. Gecko Moria looks like he's pretty much laughing. Freaking, I'm telling you, man. I'm calling it, man. Seraphim Doflamingo, he gonna be a fucking problem. He gonna be a problem. Now, I don't know what devil fruit power they gave him. Now, maybe they gave him his string powers. Like, again, because, remember, the Boa Hancock, Seraphim has her love fruit powers. Makes sense. Well, Doflamingo's in jail. They definitely got a DNA sample of his ass. It would be completely shocking. It would not be completely shocking if this Seraphim of Doflamingo has the string fruit powers. You have to wonder if this Gecko Moria has the Seraphim and Gecko Moria and Crocodile have their original devil fruit powers, or maybe they just have different devil fruit powers. I don't know, but I guess makes sense. And the fact that pretty much Seraphims, they're harder to take damage because they got that part Lunarian DNA inside them, makes them even a lot more threatening than they already are. Like, we saw that, Luffy, Lucci, Kaku, and Zoro, they were having troubles fighting the freaking Seraphims to themselves. So, yes. Anyways, we cut back to the present, and Sabo goes on to say, the moment we landed in Leloucia, the people were pretty much ready. They took King Seke and Princess Komain as prisoners and welcomed me with open arms as I emerged from hiding. That was the first time I saw the news in the paper and learned that I was accused of the killing, pretty much. He continues to say, they treated me as a hero, and though I wished to tell them the truth of what had happened, I just couldn't do it. Not when their revolutionary passion was so strong. He continues to say, thanks to Betty and the others, Leloucia was full of motivated people who wanted to join the revolutionary army. Those were the ones I brought back with me. Pretty much saying, like, yeah, because remember, good thing I freaking rewatched the Reverie arc when I was doing my rewatch the English dub, catching up to Wano. Remember, the Revolutionary Army made a quick pit stop in Leloucia to save them before they went to Reverie, and that kind of got the little sparks of like, oh, hey, cool, let's, start the whole revolution. Now, Sabo then explains how he was able to get out of the way or how he avoided the Motherflame's attack. He goes on to say, I couldn't get a jammy transponder signal, which is why I couldn't send a signal back home. So the message I did send was a relay call as we were leaving the port. If the government picked up the signal, they assumed that I was still on Leloucia. So pretty much doing this relay call, it made to the government that he was still on the Leloucia kingdom. But Sabo continues saying, but in fact, I was already at sea with our hopeful recruits. So pretty much, it seems like he sent like a pre-recorded call, and the Navy picked that up, that he sent out. The Navy picked it up, and they figured like, wait, oh, he's stationed on Lelucia. But in the meantime, he was already leaving after that relay call's going up. So yeah. Anyways, they're going. Jeez Louise. So gosh, I'm trying to remember. Oh boy. Sorry guys, I'm blanking out for a quick second. Holy crap, hold on a quick second, guys. I'm blanking out on like a quick second. I'll be right back for a second. If I can. Okay, back. So, continuing on this chapter, Ivankov is saying, and it was then while on call that the vanishing of Lelucia happened, I presume. Pretty much, Sabo's like, yes, it was a horrible scene on the ship. Most of those people left their families behind, and they saw their home destroyed before their eyes. So we find out that there's some people that actually left. Some of the members of Lelucia left. Not everybody, but the world government just killed innocent people for no damn reason, right then and there. So the government keeps proclaiming, oh, we're better than... The pirates need to be arrested. When, guess what, they're no better than the goddamn pirates. I continue to say the statement like every single time I watch One Piece. And whether I say it was the world government or the Navy, I'm like, it's funny how they proclaim themselves as almighty and they're all good. But guess what? Just like every other government, all governments are corrupt, and they're no better than who they say the bad guys are. Every government is corrupt. It doesn't matter where you go. Every government is corrupt in some sort of way. So, yeah. There is not one government in the world, even today's world, that is like 100% good. They all do corrupt shit to benefit their own personal needs and create a narrative. Simple as enough. Everything. Dragon goes on to say, it's a harrowing thing what in the world happened. A great shadow covered the entire sky, and the very next moment... Sabo goes on to say, a great shadow covered the entire sky, and then the very next moment, and Dragon's like, great shadow? Now Sabo goes on to say, something that no natural living creature could explain. Some dark, vast thing flew above the clouds. And pretty much, Ivankov's like, wait, Sabo, you said the name Emu earlier. And Ivankov goes on to say, well, this is going to sound very strange, but among the first 20 who created the world 800 years ago, there was a monarch named Saint Emu of the Nerona dynasty. So we get another reveal right then and there that it seems that, okay, Emu potentially could be from this household, the Nerona dynasty from 800 years ago, which is an original family of the original 20 kings and queens. So that's crazy right then and there. Hold on a quick second, guys. I'll be back. Okay, back. Look. As I was saying, yeah, that's interesting. So it seems like Emu came from a household of the original 20 kings, and maybe Emu is that original 20 from the one of the original 20 kings or queens, and somehow, well, again, we'll make a mention. Now Ivankov shows Sabo this, and pretty much Ivankov says it is said that there is a means to create to everlasting life exist in this world, which I think Ivankov is talking about the Opnomy. Now, Ivankov says, well, someone had to have proved it. There's someone out there been living for ages and ages without dying. And pretty much, Sabo's like, so you're saying Eam is probably the person you saw in there? Now, Ivankov says, no, maybe that's just the name is just a coincidence. But if the 5 elders of the greatest authority among the celestial dragons, so-called descendants of the gods, who else could possibly lord it over men like them? Pretty much. So Ivankov's saying, like, listen, dude, the Gorosei are the highest titles amongst all celestial dragons. It only makes sense if they're taking orders from this Emu person. That Emu person had to have lived over 800 years and somehow found a way to have some sort of immortality to do that, because who else would they be answering to? Ivankov goes on to say, and there's one more wild leap in the story, my boy. If this thing you saw fly over the clouds and destroy an entire nation was a government weapon, then only Vegapunk could have created it. Now, Dragon's like, look, okay, Evo, hold the phone, hold up. Vegapunk will not build such an obvious tool of murder. But remember, guys, a few chapters ago, we know, even in the flashbacks with Vegapunk, he said he wanted to have all the resources available so he can kill, or not kill, but so he can just create all these things. Remember, he was kind of the main people that created the Seraphim, and they're kind of killing people. And so, see, when I was reading this, I'm like, Dragon, yeah, that's really funny, man. He more than like, of course, Vegapunk. I'm like, Vegapunk has definitely had to make weapons that the government uses to harm people. Like, definitely, the government told him, make this weapon for us. Vegapunk's like, sure, give me the resources, I'll do it. And they're like, here you go. And Vegapunk's like, yay, I can do my sciencey stuff. And what is those devices or weapons that Vegapunk created more than likely used for? Pretty much harming individuals to make the point. So to Dragon's point, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but that's kind of the thing right then and there. Now Ivankov counters back at Dragon saying, but what if it were an ancient weapon? And if Emu were still alive since ancient times, it all links up. Now again, see, this is kind of the thing that, man. This is the thing that's kind of the only confusing part about this chapter, because we don't know if the Motherflame is another name for Uranus that they're just calling secretly, that maybe Vegapunk saw up close an ancient weapon and maybe he did some modifications to it. Maybe the Motherflame is an attachment to Uranus. I don't know. We don't know if the Motherflame is just a Vegapunk invention by itself, nor do we know what it looks like. Or two, we don't know if this like is just it's the ancient weapon, they're just calling something else, and Vegapunk saw it and maybe did some modifications on it. I don't know. This is the only confusing part, that we don't know. So now, we thought when the chapter first came out, when the Lelucia Kingdom incident happened, everybody thought like, okay, that's it. That's Uranus. That's Uranus. That's Uranus. I said it the other way real quick. That's Uranus. That's the ancient weapon in the sky. Because, hey, makes sense. You have an ancient weapon on the sea, another ancient weapon on the sea, which is obviously Pluton. And I guess if you want to also add Shirahoshi, because she lives in the sea, I guess so, but she's more like the animal kind of ancient weapon. But you get my point. And now you have one from the sky. But, or I guess you'd say Pluton's like from the land, Shirahoshi, Poseidon's the one for the sea, and then obviously Uranus is the one for the sky, pretty much. Now again, we don't know what it looks like. We don't know what this ancient weapon looks like. We know what Shirahoshi looks like. We know what Pluton looks like, which is it's some big battleship, which we still have yet to see what Pluton looks like, but we know where it's located at. So that's kind of the thing right then and there. So we just don't know what it looks like. We just don't know. So it could be the ancient weapon Uranus. It could not be. We don't know. It might be its own separate thing. So yeah. Anyways, continuing on as we're ending off the damn chapter, so I can stop recording videos and my phone would freaking cooperate with me. No, Shonen Jump app does not want to cooperate with you. It does not want to cooperate. Please, thank you, cooperate with me. Thank you. We're almost about done. Well, I got one more page. Anyways, Dragon bubbles to that statement saying, we're all been told us that ancient weapons are real. But if the government is in possession of a weapon, why have they not used it before, and why use it now? Which again answers the question, could the Motherflame be an ancient weapon? We don't know. Because Dragon makes a good point. It's like, well, dude, if the government had an ancient weapon in their arsenal this entire time, then why did they not have used it, this entire time to just create control the narrative? So it goes to show that maybe the Motherflame is just like a test thing that they're just testing to see, okay, does this work? So yeah. Anyways, the chapter ends off where we cut back to Marijois, and this is present day. Complete present day now. This is present day. So everything lined up in the story is now present day. Narrator goes on to say, in the present day, in Sacred Marijois, a single celestial dragon has just been executed. But there was not news meant for the world to hear. Now, in the meantime, I guess members of the Celestial Dragon was like, wait, we have no food, no bread. We only have cake to eat. Then we get the narrator talking again as we see this man with hair in the shape of a crescent moon. And he's got a sword and everything. He goes on to say, the man who passed the sentence was once the ruler of a place called God Valley. Today, he is the supreme commander of the Holy Knights, aka the God Knights. And his name is Saint Figureland Garling. The man he had executed for protecting the fishmen was Saint Don Quixote Miosgard. Chapter ends off with Figureland Garling saying, stand up for subhuman scum and you sink even lower. Or I like in the unofficial translation, he says, in the unofficial translation, the fan translation, he pretty from TCB scans said, you know, people who protect scum are no lower than the scum they protect. I think that line that sounds a little bit more badass than what the official translation says, but it is what it is. I like that line because that guy was like, man, who gives a crap? You're scum if you protect scum that are lower than the scum or whatever, and that means you're just, you know, you get the point. And the chapter ends off. We're left off on a 4-5 week break, and yes, so we finally get some revelations, and this honestly was probably like the biggest revelation right then and there, because if you know the Figureland name, that has ties to Shanks, because he's a member of the Figureland family, and he originally came from God Valley. So, in a way, Saint Figureland Garling somehow is related to Shanks in some sort of weird way. Whether that's his dad, his uncle, a cousin, I guess. He looks too old to be a cousin, but alright. Hey, too old to be a brother, definitely. Or a grandfather, or maybe a great-grandfather. I don't know. And the fact that this guy also used to be a ruler of God Valley tells me one of two things. One, does this mean we have more God Valley people in Marijois that the world government recognizes good enough to be deemed to live here? Was this Emu's proposition to say, yeah, after the God Valley incident, let the God Valley people come live in Marijois. We'll keep it quiet. So, yes. Now, it's funny because a few weeks ago in a chapter, I forgot what chapter it was, when they were talking about the Holy Knights or the God's Knights, we saw a silhouette of Shanks, and then people were like, oh, does this mean Shanks is a member of the God's Knight? Oh my god, it makes no sense why he was up in the reverie at Marijois. I'm talking to the 5 elders. Now, maybe because he has the title of Figureland, he may be allowed to go up there. Even though he's a pirate, he has the title of Figureland. So, it makes sense that maybe he's able to go up to Marijois. Probably not willy-nilly, he probably has to schedule something. But you get the point. Yeah, this is big news right here. And the fact that this guy was the former ruler of God Valley, like, you know, the former king of God Valley? What the hell, man? That means, okay then, this guy must have participated in the fight on God Valley with Roger Garp versus Rocks. Versus Rocks. And I'm just like, what is going on with this story? Oh my god! So, okay, but like I was saying, if you remember, when they were showing the silhouette of the God's Knight, and you saw one silhouette where it looked like Shanks, and people were thinking like, oh, is Shanks a member of the God's Knight? Maybe that's some crazy foreshadowing by Oda. Because then only to find out, a few chapters later, a member of his family is a member of the God's Knight. So I don't know if Oda threw him that kind of little twist right then and there and say, oh yeah, I'm gonna put this Shanks silhouette in there, they're gonna think it's Shanks, but in reality it's somebody related to Shanks that has the same name as him. They'll never see it coming. And yes, I didn't see that coming, but you have to wonder, does that mean so they're called the God's Knights, and if they're from the Holy Knights, And if they're from God Valley, right, it would only make sense that these members of the God's Knights, they're members from God Valley. They're people from God Valley. Now, are there more people? Are there like civilians from God Valley living in Marijua that maybe, I guess, got themselves named as maybe Celestial Dragons? I don't know. That could be the case. Maybe they're technically filling in for the last kingdom that, you know, is made up of the 20 kings. Because remember, Alabasta Kingdom didn't want to go up there and do that and be Celestial Dragons. So maybe maybe people from God Valley are Celestial Dragons in some cases. But maybe the God's Knights are like warriors from God Valley, like this guy was. Or maybe just the God Knights are just a group of people that were pretty much whatever survivors from the God Valley incident after God Valley disappeared off the face of the earth, pretty much, in the One Piece world. So that's my prediction. I think members of the God Knights, they're people that are actually hail from God Valley. Because it makes sense. It's in the name of their freaking title. Like, what are you going to do? And it seems like they're practically like the judge, jury, and executioners. And like, okay, yeah, that's kind of the thing. We'll hell everything. So, yeah, and remember, one of the Gorosei is the member of justice. So this guy probably has to work alongside the Gorosei to be able to do it. Do what he needs to do. And of course, no shocker to everybody's surprise, the Celestial Dragon that got executed was more than likely Musgar, which I called it. I think everybody called it in the freaking community, but I called it most definitely that, okay, he's definitely going to jail, and he's definitely going to be the one killed. Now, we don't know if Musgar is killed. They don't really show him. He looks just really badly beat up, and he looks like he's being crucified on, not a cross, but a world government logo. So we don't know if he's dead, or we don't know if they're like just pitting him out there and they're gonna kill him. We don't know, but that's definitely not a shocker that Musguard was gonna die. He had it coming. He protected the he protected the Shirahoshi, you know, from obviously Charlos twice, mind you, and two, he gave orders for pretty much two people from Luffy's fleet to attack Charlos, which I think was probably the breaking point. I think they let it slide with Charlos hitting him the first time. They're like, all right, we'll give you a warning. Just don't do it again, or don't do nothing even more crazy. And I think when they found out that, oh, the guys that attacked Charlos under Musgar's order was under Luffy's fleet. Oh no, this guy's got to die right here. He literally told members of Straw Hat Pirate Luffy, the 5th Emperor, on top of the fact that they know that now they look at his bounty, they see his awakened devil fruit form, they're like, oh, no, he's dying today. And plus thing is, they're not announcing this to the world because guess what? If the world finds out, wait, they kill Celestial Dragons? Then what the hell is supposed to be? Then guess what? What am to be scared of? Against a Celestial Dragon. If they do something wrong to me, or they do something wrong, well, guess what? They die. So, of course, they're not going to report that news because then the common people wouldn't be afraid of the Celestial Dragons anymore. They'd just be like, well, guess what? Yes, we still got to act, you know, smart around these guys, but if they screw up, well, shit, we could just tell the government and say, hey, I think you need to kill this guy. So, yeah, man, this chapter, I just did this chapter review has been going on for 40 minutes. This was a really great chapter, a great chapter to leave us off on a cliffhanger for the time being, man, for the next 4 weeks. I'm very excited to see what the manga is going to do, what Oda is going to do. I feel like now that we're back in the present time, maybe we have a little bit of Marijua, and then we cut back to Egghead. Or maybe we just cut back to Egghead entirely, and we go back to focusing on what the Straw Hats are doing. Because pretty much, we got kind of the gist of the story of what's going on here. Or what happened, literally, between the time that Luffy and everybody were settling their shit with Kaido and Wano. And what was going on in the outside world. Unless Oda has any other things of what to do with the outside world, what's going on in the present, I guess we're going to be cutting back to Egghead, seeing what the hell's going on there, and how Luffy and company are going to be escaping the clutches of not only freaking, not Akainu, of Light Boy, freaking chillax guy, I forgot his name, Kizaru, and Saint J. Garcia, which you have to wonder, is Luffy gonna fight a Gorosei member, it makes sense. Makes sense. They're not only there to kill frickin' Vegapunk, they're more than likely also say, oh, we have our chance to probably get the human fruit back if we can kill Luffy, and then guess what? Everything will be back to normal like it should be, and plus we can get rid of the Straw Hats. We'll kick we'll kill two birds with one stone. So that's kind of thing. But man, everything that's crazy, absolutely crazy. One Piece is just getting crazy. The more reveal drops we're getting, the more it is. If you're wondering, I'm going to be back for that first chapter. I probably will. It doesn't have to be the most interesting chapter, but I'll probably just go back. I'll just do a review on it just to talk about it, just out of the fact that, well, it's the first chapter coming off pretty much a month break. So, yeah. But anyways, I'm going to get out of here. If you guys like the video, leave a like. Put in the comment section your thoughts on One Piece chapter. I will get out the One Piece episode review and things like that when I have time to do it. And yeah, but anyways, I'm gonna get out of here. Catch you guys in this video. Till then, guys, stay safe out there and have a great rest of your day. Peace.